Hello guys, good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 5th. I'm going to be talking about today's price action, well, recording today's live session. And I think what happened through London and through Asian session last night is actually really good because we could be looking at the week's high, right? This little bit of a high here. As you can see, it was going aggressively higher, takes a high, starts ranging aggressively lower, ranges higher, takes a lot of buy side liquidity, and then aggressively lower, tiny bit of a buy side there, continues lower, and so on and so forth. Also, as you can see, it's Wednesday already, and Wednesday, if we haven't created the low or high of the week yet, it'll be the day, right, for it to do that. And I'm really interested on that. So what are we going to be doing today? Ideally, I'm gonna be bearish, but if confluences show up to be bullish, I'm gonna look for those confluences. I'm gonna try to take advantage of those. And really that's all that I can do. This is the 50% of the impulse, and the reason why, hold on, I just got up because I fell asleep and I can't see straight. And the reason why we'll have this in the chart is because we are, if we're really going to be aiming for this being the high of the week, we're basing ourselves on basically just 15-minute changes in the trend, right, against all of this that has been happening throughout, well, the ending of last week and the beginning, well, this entire week, right? A couple of days that have been quite aggressively higher, yeah. And but just gotta be careful with it, right? 50% multiple states. Let's make that tinier. That, and we zoom in, we're gonna be all right, yeah. Cool. So what am I going to be doing? I already believe that the day's bias is going to be bearish. So what is it that I need, or what is it that I need now to be able to trade, right? If theoretically the week or the day is bearish, I just gotta wait for the 5 steps to occur according to that, right? If my day's bias is bearish, then I have to wait for a random buy side liquidity, 5-minute or 15-minute market shift and displacement and creation of fair value gaps basically to the downside, and then for price to trade back up into those fair value gaps to then give us the lower time frame opportunities, right? It's as simple as it is. And right now, well, from the 15-minute we don't really have much, from the 5 we don't have much either, but here's the thing, we've taken a lot of buy side liquidity, even this side barely, but we have, let's just market this really nice run buy side liquidity. What aggressive move lower. As you can see, we have another run buy side liquidity right here. And okay, so what could we look for? Ideally, again, run buy side liquidity first, and then the rest. So I would appreciate if this one stopped impulsing, but something like this. Retracement, actually that would be quite far. Retracement, right? Taking all of the buy side liquidity. Hopefully this is either happening through the open or after the open, right? Takes all of the buy side liquidity and then aggressively going lower, 5-minute fair value gap, lower time frame entries in there, aiming at this, right? Or just looking for the low, depending on the risk or reward ratio, right? That's exactly what we'll look for. And really that's all that I can do. That's all that I will wait for. And if the market gives us opportunities where we're going to be having a really good session, which we haven't had this week so far, not because I took losses, but well, the market hasn't given us opportunities, and I'm interested in the fair value gaps. Let me draw those. This one and this one, both 15-minute fair value gaps. And if we wanted to be a little bit more Actually, that is the way. 50% wasn't mitigated, so we can do it like this. So above this high, we already have a 50% retracement, so that's great. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do this little introduction. As you can see, we're still an hour away from the open, so that'll take a couple of hours, probably a good few minutes. And that's pretty much it. One more time, exactly what I'm waiting for. Retracement, run on buy side liquidity. If we mitigate a 50-minute fair value gap, then even better, right? 5-minute market shift, 5-minute fair value gap, lower time from entry, aiming for the 50% of Tuesday simples. Or again, depending on risk to reward ratio, if I'm getting 20R on this, I'm closing around here, right? Maybe 10, maybe it's 8, I don't know. But when I have a really large trade, I'm either closing a lot of partials in the middle before the large target is actually reached, or just the entire thing at 5%. So that's pretty much it. So 8:15 news, which is this candle right here, didn't really do much, which is great because now we can actually trade. And I do like this high being created here because now there's an even closer high to take its buy side liquidity before giving us the rest of the steps. So that could be lovely to see happening. Still have this, which will be the ideal. A couple of scenarios. And was I looking at it like this? No, I was not. How was I looking at it? From this high, but what? No. So I'm guessing I'm not expecting this high to be taken then. Okay. 1 hour probably has one. Yeah, but it's mitigated right there. Let me zoom in because I feel like I don't zoom in enough sometimes. Fair value gap there. Mitigation on the week. Yeah, not a big fan of this Fibonacci. There's an order block there, probably something in the 15 as well. Yeah, fair value gap. I mean, but the fair value gap will be not invalidated. It will go through that if we're trying to get to the 50% of that. It's, I don't know. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, at the time we can take this high displacement market shift, fair value gap in the 5-minute, lower time for opportunities. So something that we can look for. Ideally, we see price trading up to this or up to this, just a little bit extra, right? Not necessary, but a little bit extra that I would like to see. On the other hand, price could just continue to go aggressively lower and will reach this target, which would have been my target by going bearishly. But I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna, again, as I showed, well, actually I showed it yesterday, but as I didn't actually follow the video, you can't see it. This is the account that I'm using instead of my founder challenge and challenges. I'm gonna set a price alert on this. I never knew the ask. Blue line, red line, so I guess bid is sell, ask is buy. I don't know. It needs to be higher than that, I don't care with what. And maybe even after this one. As I don't have Trading View Premium at the time, I didn't really want to spend money on it. I don't really use it that much except for the alerts, but the alerts are something that we can fix. So really didn't worry me that much. Oh, and I'm putting an alert below the low as well. Because actually that's also going to be important. Right below this low. Cool. Open on this candle. Let's actually put it so we know. It's the price. Ideally we trade higher. Power of 3 concept. Premium prices as well based on the open fear of this. And the midnight open is quite high, so we can't really use that. For now, that's pretty much it. Again, I want to see around the buy side liquidity, then the rest of the steps, and ideally we see entries finally, and potentially lastly, like the last opportunities I'm actually going to be seeking for today. That's pretty much it for now. We'll see how things turn out through the session, but that's all for me. Okay, so run on buy side, right? Still respecting this order block here. It's tiny bit of a 5-minute order block, probably something on the 15. Not really. So run on buy side, aggression lower, market shift below that low, right there, and potential parabolic gap as it hasn't been created just yet. And well, it is what it is, right? So another issue that I have with this is that we didn't even reach the 50% of this impulse here, right? And then we have the even larger impulse. If I'm right, and we are, we've created last night we created the high of the week. This. Oh, look at where the fuck it is. 99,997. Yeah, that's not good. And even another high here. That's a lot of buy side. I do still think that if this is the high of the week, it should be respected and everything, right? But that's a lot of buy side liquidity, if I'm gonna be honest. Let's just ignore that for now. But if we're supposedly creating the high of the week, right? I do expect price to pull away from it quite aggressively, as it is somehow. Not somehow, but as it is, basically. We would have the 5 steps if everything goes according to plans, so that's definitely something. And that is really all that I can say. I don't like where we're selling. I think we're pretty low to it, right? Although we could use it like this now. And oh, it will still have to reach that, so no. I don't know. Thing is that if price creates this fair value gap, this 5-minute fair value gap, trades back into it, I'm gonna be looking for sales in lower time frames, and that's really all that you need to know. I got the price alerts. Okay. Let me delete this one. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's really all that I can do at the time. How can I maximize this? I'm trying to maximize the chart on the C Trader. I want to like hide this. Oh no. The watermark is awful. I guess we'll have to leave it like that. So again, just expect the price to trade back into this. Whenever that happens, I'm looking for lower time frame entries. I do believe that this fair value gap will be created. We have everything that we look for. The only issue that we have is premium and discount. I do believe that we're pretty low. But again, if we are on the half the week, this could definitely be aggressive, right? Also, we're pretty close to the 50%, which I kind of wanted to be a bit farther away than this to have a nice risk to reward ratio all the way down there, but we might not be able to. It is what it is. Just gotta wait for this to happen, the lower time frame to occur, and that is really pretty much it. Okay, so 2 entries, right? 2 entries. This one has this one, right? This one has this market shift, which in my opinion was not enough. And then this one that has this market shift with the same fair value gap, but now this fair value gap could show up. So I'm guessing my entries should change to that. And my problem with this is that I cannot use the risk, well, not the risk, the trade manager that I use on MetaTrader, which is a shame, but well, it is what it is. How much do we have? I'm gonna have to use the same stop loss though. So that's 9.7 of a stop loss that I'm gonna have to use. And it's going to be market, so let's call it 4 with the stop loss 99, 143. Where are we? 8 seconds away. Yes. 143. Please stop moving, bro. Continues moving. I don't know why it does that. Let's just take off the stop loss and stuff like this. So as an example, this is something that I wouldn't do. Okay, this is something that I just wouldn't do. And I mean, let me delete this. Let me put this stop. Oh, I'm buying. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let me close this. That was awesome. So this is something that I wouldn't do, and what I mean with that is that I'm risking 2% first of all. And the reason why I wouldn't do it is because I couldn't put the risk correctly, 98,757. And well, also because of that, honestly. What did I say was 98,7 something? And what was aim at 5R? How much of a stop loss? 10 pips. So 4R, 5R is gonna be 50 pips. There it is. So the reason why I say that again is because I couldn't set the risk correctly, right? On MetaTrader, I use risk management, entry, trade management, something like that. I don't remember the actual name of it. But what it allows me to do is to have at all times to just put the stop loss, and it will put the lot size to risk X amount that I of course choose in the trade, right? So as an example, in ICT Trader, I could actually show you. Let me open this. What I would have to do on this only would be I want to use this. It's gonna be a mess. $1, and do I actually have it here? Because I may not. That's a problem. Okay, don't have it. So what I would have to do on MetaTrader is say, okay, so my stop loss is going to be up here, so that's 99.147 as an example, and I'm going to take a market execution, right? So whenever whatever price it is, it's calculating at the same time it's calculating what my pip size, or sorry, not pip size, lot size will be, to say that I'm going to risk as an example 1% of the capital, 2% of the capital, 0, right? So let's see where that was triggered. 99.040.051. Good price. And stop loss sadly is all the way up here. And target is all the way down here. And as you can see, we're barely getting 3R out of that. But didn't I say I was getting, oh yeah, well, I'm going lower than supposed, ain't I? Because it's 756 and I'm aiming at 5.5. Yeah, okay. So 756 it is. 756, right there. And that is, yeah, that's basically 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, sorry. And we're risking $400, making around 1,200. So it might be getting all the way up to this entry. It might just be taking some buy side. It might just fail, right? I wouldn't have the ideal market shift in my opinion, but well, we did get this one, which in my opinion is a really good one. And ideally, we'd be confident enough on setting our stop losses about that high. But as this fair value gap wasn't mitigated, I can't do that, right? Because price does have the right to basically go all the way up to that before continuing any lower. And it is what it is. So let me set up the alerts. Oh, actually, ICT Trader tells me if my stop loss is hit. So let's just set this one. Price alert, ask, I don't know the difference, I don't care. At that point, I'm probably moving my stop loss to half a list, and then we'll see. I can change the background image, really interesting. Cool, that's all for now. We'll see if the trade works out or not. Sadly, I took that tiny bit of a loss, as you can see there. It's a shame, but nothing for me to do. And yeah, now we just gotta chill and wait. Well, I'm gonna do a little bit of a tiny update and final one before, well, after this I'll probably do like the resume of the day or something else. Just the end of the trade analysis. Target is still the same. Took some partials. Of course, these partials, do keep in mind that as an example, I've made it 1.5%, right? A little bit more than 1.5. Theoretically, it should have been a 0.75. Yeah, 0.75 because I'm risking double. I'm risking 2% instead of 1%, which is not bad, but it's not what I would have risked. So it is what it is. So I closed that and I still have 1.5% running, as you can see right here. And final target is actually close to 3%, 2.7%, 2.3%, something like that. Pretty close to, basically pretty close to 3%, and that's what I'm aiming for. And of course, we could be aiming for something much lower. If this really is the week's low, we could easily say, okay, so let's try and aim for this low or this one. I wouldn't really go that far, so this is really good enough. And do keep in mind that as an example, if we would have used the more aggressive stop loss, would have been above this high, plus 4 is 54 ticks, which means that we could have gotten a 1 to a 5.43R, meaning that we already, actually we didn't get to 4R just yet. So yeah, I have this 5-minute fair value gap just in case it trades back into that and gives us something. It could be a little bit of a scaling opportunity. But that is really pretty much it. After this, again, as I said, I'll probably be making like the resume of the day or just end of the like post trade analysis. But I don't think it really needs much. I mean, we just did everything that we look for. We saw everything that we look for. Price gave us that. And oh, actually, here, well, not here. Where is it? So theoretically, I should be risking. Oh, I'm actually risking a 1%. Huh. I think my stop loss was a bit higher. No. Oh, no. It's because I closed 50%. Never mind. So if my stop loss was above this high, I am risking a 1.3%. So it's not that bad. So basically, we are theoretically getting 5 hard out of this, but it would have not been executed like that. So I'm just not counting it as that. So even though we might get if we get the full target, we're talking about 3 plus 1.5, around 4.5, almost 5% in profits. I'm not going to count that. It's going to be a 2.5% profit probably. And it is what it is, right? I just want to be transparent about that because I don't want to have at the end of the week saying that I made a 5% when I really would have made just a 2.5. Supposing, of course, I actually took this like this, right? But I don't know. We can never know how we would have traded it if we were in an actual, actually risking capital, right? You never know how you would have acted at that time. So that's all that I wanted to say. This is either the end of the video or the end of the live session, and then I'll do the post-market analysis. That's pretty much it for now. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of an execution, analysis, and everything. A lovely session in my opinion, even though this trade could just turn against us and close us in break even. I didn't move myself as a break even actually to that now, because if price was to turn against me, I don't want to take a loss. I prefer to stick with that 1.5 or 0.75% win and before anything else. So yeah, something else that I'll do is say around here, maybe closing some more partials just because, and that is pretty much it. Hello guys, and welcome to today's little bit of a resume post-market analysis. And it's going to be a little bit of a quick one, as you were able to see most of what I thought it was going to be. Why did I do why did I do this or that and everything. But let's, as usual, begin with the bias. I thought it was going to be bearish, right? We were talking about potentially seeing the week's high on the Asian session last night. Well, actually, this is 3 p.m. New York, so that's actually the PM session. Okay, doesn't really matter. Thing is that a high was created here, and between Wednesday and Tuesday, you see the high or low of the week, usually, not always, usually. So as I am expecting a bearish week, I said, well, it did create a high, and as you can see in the 5-15 minute, we can clearly see some really good changes in the trend. Run and buy side liquidity starts going lower, run and buy side liquidity continues going lower, run and buy side continues going lower. And that's why I thought it was going to be bearish. That's why it was bearish in my opinion. And that's what I traded. Ended up being bearish. And how could we determine that? Again, run some buy side liquidity, potential high of the week as it is Wednesday, and mostly run and buy side liquidity, aggression lower, run and buy side liquidity, aggression lower, and so on and so forth. Now, jumping onto the trades of the day, there was only one that worked out. And well, one that worked out and one completely, right? The only trade of the day from my point of view was the one that I took. Might have been more, but I can't really say for sure about that. And let's look into it. Why could we take in this trade? And to put it simple, let me just, oh, I can, yeah, okay. So that's pretty much it, right? If we already have a bias that we understand price is likely to respect, all that we are going to be looking for is this. Run and stops, which will be above this high, run stops. 5 minute displaces and causes a market shift. Quite aggressive price action, causes a market shift. Fair value gap is created later, but as you can see, it is within this margin of price action that we have, the movement that actually causes the break of the low, right? That causes the market shift. That's where we're supposed to look for the fair value gap, but as you can see, that's what's mitigated. Also, price respected the 5-minute order block, which is as well the New York Open. And as you can see, we also traded a bit above New York Open, which is trading on premium prices based on the New York Open, right? The session open. So we have 5-minute market shift displacement, and then we go into the lower time frames and we look exactly for the same thing. Now, I did have a little bit of a moment where I was a little bit conflicted about what to choose, because we have this somewhat large wick here, right? And you can see the price was going higher, starts to retrace, continues retracing, and then continues basically going higher. So that's basically a higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. Therefore, this could have been a pretty nice fair value gap to try to trade into. As you were able to see in the video, I think I did leave the entry, the order here. I was trying to sell from here on paper trading, and then I was also trying to sell from there on my, what would have been this week, my Challenger funded accounts. But price doesn't really trade back into it. And then this beautiful thing right here is created, on which you can see that price was going lower, stops, retraces. You can see a low, high, a lower low. That's the market shift. That's a better market shift in my opinion compared to this one, which doesn't really have much structure. And this is the fair value gap where I executed my entry, and the one that ends up working out. My entry was at 51, got a little bit of a better entry. Stop loss, as you were able to see, I put it up here. Theoretically, should have been 141 plus 4 is 145. Target in this would have been 3.13 R. Sadly, as you were able to see as well, I had a little bit of an issue with the execution because I'm not used to C-Trader, and I can't use my risk calculator, that was the name of it, to be able to do it as quick as I used to, right? And we'll just mitigate it there. Ideally, our stop loss would have been up here, but we are always in a little bit of a risk of price going above this, going for this fair value gap, and then continuing lower. So we do have to keep that in mind, and then targeting 50% of Tuesday's impulse, as you can see right here, from this entire impulse, which is also Monday's impulse, now that I realize. Price mitigated the 50, potentially going lower. Again, if this actually is the week's high, we could be definitely looking at something much larger than that, but it's not something that I would trade, so I prefer not to even talk about it. And that is really pretty much it. My target is just based on the fact that we are going against what has been the trend, right? We have had a pretty aggressive move higher, so this could easily be a retracement. So expecting price to retrace, we were able to catch an opportunity, but that doesn't necessarily mean that trade will just break this low, right? It could retrace just to the 50 to then continue higher, it could retrace to the 50 to then retrace and then continue lower. There are multiple things that could happen around the 50. In my opinion, it was a really good target to choose, really good target to go for, and that is what ends up being mitigated, as you can see. That is really pretty much it. That's all that I wanted to show. As you can see, all that we really did was follow all that I really did was follow the 5 steps. This is what I have proven myself works out quite lovely, right? Mixing the higher time frames with the lower time frames, that worked out perfectly today. And as of course, this is the first video of the week because I haven't recorded anything for Monday and Tuesday because we didn't have trades through that. So I didn't take losses, I didn't take wins, I didn't miss out on moves in my opinion. Sure, we can say that, well, you did miss out on Mondays and Tuesdays move, right? We're talking about, this is Monday, pretty aggressive move. We're talking about a good amount of pips, 70 pips, and then Tuesday through the kill zone, this is basically what we got, 80 pips as well, right? Pretty lovely moves, but nothing for me to actually be able to take advantage of. My 5 steps didn't show up in that price action, so there's nothing for me to do. And that is really pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're able to see a little bit further of how I trade and why I trade the way that I do. And that's it. And I took a 4% profit I didn't talk about it. 4% profit, and as I kind of mentioned through the video, theoretically, if my stop loss was here, that 5% is actually correct, right? But the way that I would have executed it with my stop loss all the way up here, I would have not gotten that profit. I would have gotten 3% down at this low, and that's what I would have left with, right? So an extra 1% due to the fact that I risked double and basically went for this. Theoretically, by going for this with a 2% on this one, on this double, sort of in a 10%, but well, went with a 2% with this one, right? Again, it's not that I meant to go with a 2%, just not used to CTrader, and it doesn't automatically calculate the risks. It's a little bit of a mess, but it is what it is. Lovely trade, lovely way to, probably honestly, if I was trading on challenge and fund, I probably would quit for the week. I think we have news tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow is really tradable, no news or no aggressive news. And then Friday, NFP Friday, we're definitely going to be avoiding. That is pretty much it for now. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you took something away from it. And I'll be seeing you on the next one.